What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. And this one we have why Buddhism and Hinduism are not different religions. I feel like many videos I've seen, I didn't think they were it seems like they, if different, very similar. But from what I've seen, it seemed like Buddhism was actually a part of Hinduism. And so we're going to dive into this and see what Abhijit Chavda has to say. Very interested in this one. If you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, smack that join button to receive your exclusive benefit. And let's hear this explanation.
Buddhism and Hinduism are both different religions. So Nikhil, I understand why you say this. I respect your opinion. Now, let me give you a different perspective, right?
Okay.
So I have always been saying that Buddhism and Hinduism are essentially the same thing. Buddhism is just another form of Hinduism. That is what I have said many times in public and in different forums. And I have got this comment hundreds of times that no, you are wrong. Buddhism and Hinduism are different. So the belief, the common and most popular belief is that Buddhism was a rebellion against Hinduism. It was a rebellion against the caste system. It was a reformative, it was an attempt to reform Indian society. And it was a new religion, and so on and so forth. And the arguments we get is that the core concepts of Buddhism are different from the core concepts of Hinduism. Hinduism has hundreds or thousands or millions of gods, and Buddhism doesn't believe in gods. And Hinduism has the concept of the eternal soul, and Buddhism does not believe in the soul. And Hinduism believes in the Vedas, and Buddhism rejects the Vedas. So these are the arguments that are put forth to say that Buddhism is separate from Hinduism. So that is the arguments. Now here, this is what I have to say. Let us examine the teachings of the Lord Buddha, of Gautam Buddha. Buddhism is what he taught, right? We have a very good record of his discourses and his teachings. These are very well recorded. So we know his exact words and what he taught and what he said in public over his lifetime, right? We have proper records of his discourses and his teachings. Now, I would like to ask anybody, any of my listeners today, please show me one example, one sentence from all his discourses, where he has said that he is starting a new religion called Buddhism. Where does he say that? And show me one example, one sentence in all his discourses, all his teachings, where he says that I am rejecting Hinduism and where he is saying that I am no longer a Hindu. Where does he say this? I can promise you, you will not find this anywhere.
Dang, I'm very intrigued on what you guys have to say. We still got like 5 minutes left though, so we're gonna hear them out. But I just wanted, so far, what do you guys think? Do you guys think two different religions, or do you think Buddhism is actually an extension of Hinduism? Yeah, I'm very intrigued to hear what you have to say.
Gautam Buddha spoke about Dhamma or Dharma. You can say Dharma in Sanskrit or Dhamma in Pali. And he spoke about Dhamma and Dharma. He did not reject Dharma or Dhamma. And there is only one Dharma, by the way. There are not 15 different Dharmas. There is only one Dharma. It is a dharmic umbrella which encompasses a number of schools of thought, including Charvaka, which is materialism and atheism, including Bauddha Dharma, including Jaina Dharma, Mimamsa, and other schools of thought like Yoga and Sankhya and Vaisheshika and Vedanta. So these are some of the schools of thought which fall under the umbrella of Dharma. These are quite diverse. Some of them are very different, such as Charvaka, which rejects God, which rejects all spirituality. It is completely materialistic. And Bauddha Dharma is one of these manifestations of Dharma. So it is all under the umbrella of Dharma, right? Now, the argument that Buddha rejected the concept of the soul. Well, I would like to point you to Lord Buddha's deathbed discourse, the Mahaparinirvana discourse, which he spoke on the last night before he died. It was in the city of Kushinagar in Uttar Pradesh or northern India. And in his last discourse on his deathbed, right, He said that the soul exists and it is permanent, it is immortal. And he said that he recognizes the authority of the Vedas. So, my question is, why do these Buddhist scholars try to evade this particular piece of evidence? Why do they disregard Gautam Buddha's own words, where he has shown, demonstrated that his discourses are just another, and that his teachings are just one form of the same philosophical and cultural and spiritual and religious tradition that is Dharma, right?
So he said, I mean, there's not multiple dharmas. There's one dharma, and all these things fall under that one umbrella. And there, I'm not sure who he said was the person who came up with the teachings of Buddhism, but that he's saying they never once denied Hinduism. They never once said that this is a new religion that's starting. None of that ever actually happened, and he's not teaching anything different than what's taught in Hinduism. And so he say like these are the same. They're not different religions. Buddhism and Hinduism are not different. But I'm sure there's many people who would clap back against that and say, yeah, no, like Mr. Nikhil saying they completely are different religions. And it'd be awesome like to hear an opposing standpoint, because you just can't take one point of view and run with that, one person's point of view, and run with it. I feel like you want to hear an opposing point of view, and then kind of take the information in for yourself and decide, make a educated decision for yourself based off your own research. But what he's saying, I'm completely understandable. I feel like what he's saying right here, I'm not seeing them two as a different religion. That's what I'm saying. I would want to hear someone else who claims that they are different religions, hear what kind of research they have to make those claims.
Ritual and religious tradition that is Dharma, right? So I think this is enough evidence that both the Dharma and the other forms of Dharma are essentially one and the same. Now, let me show you some more evidence.
Okay.
Thailand is a Buddhist country. I don't think anybody will dispute that, right? Thailand is a Buddhist country. Now, in Thailand, why do you have so many Vishnu temples? Why are the Thai people so crazy about Lord Ganesh? Why do they worship Lord Ganesh? Why are they so fond of Lord Shiva? Why is the real name of Bangkok Indrapuri? Why do they have a great tableau of the Samudra Manthan, which is Hindu mythology, so to say? Why do they have a great tableau of Samudra Manthan in Suvarna Bhumi airport in Bangkok? If they are Buddhists, why are they embracing Hindu culture and Hinduism? Right? Let's talk about Japan. Japan is a Buddhist and Shinto country. Now, let's look at the form of Buddhism they practice, right? They worship a goddess called Benzaiten. She is one of the most exalted goddesses in Japanese Buddhism. Who is Benzaiten? She is Saraswati, right? They worship Ganesh. They have a Japanese name for Ganesh, but they worship him. They have a Japanese name for Lord Shiva, but they worship Lord Shiva. They worship goddess Lakshmi. They worship every god and goddess that is part of Hinduism, and yet they are considered to be Buddhists. So how does a Buddhist culture embrace Hinduism so deeply? How does that happen? I could give you 1,000 more examples. I think it suffices. So I think I have made a very strong case, and I have proven the fact that Buddhism and Hinduism are two sides of the same coin. The divide between Buddhism and Hinduism, if you look at literature and history, its first mention is during the colonial era of India, during the India's occupation by the British. It is they who attempted to drive a wedge between the people of India by creating this artificial Buddhism versus Brahmanism divide. These are colonial nations, and our post-independence education system and our great eminent historians and teachers have been promoting and propagating these false and extremely vicious and harmful colonial ideas whose purpose was to divide and fragment and splinter India. So once again, I reiterate, Buddhism and Hinduism are the same thing. Buddhism is just another form of Hinduism, or Hinduism is another form of Buddhism. It's the same thing.
Dang, so he's saying he's taking these countries that you would look at, that would be looked at upon as Buddhist countries, and saying, why do they worship, why do they have so many of these temples? Why do they believe in these Hindus gods? They just call them by different names. Why? Because they are two sides of the same coin, because they are two and the same. And he's saying, I got 1,000 more examples, but I feel like I have proved that these two religions are actually the same, that they're not really different religions. They only got split because British colonization wanted to create a divide in Indians and created this different religion, but it's not different. He said it's the same. And so, what do you guys think on that topic? I don't know enough about Buddhism or Hinduism to give a valid opinion on it. And so I'm very intrigued at what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed that, please don't forget to subscribe, give a video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. I'll see you guys next time.